Hello, welcome. My name is Noah or Dennis. Um, I just wanted to make a quick video about my experience in the European Championship finals last weekend and how my games went. And as you can see, I played Gotenks in that. Um, and before we start getting into the deck list and how my matchup went, I just wanted to talk about how the event itself went. And as many of you know, probably know already, um, and especially those who participated in any of the finals or last chance qualifier events know it know it as well. The event was managed really poorly, sadly. Um, I think every event had like at least an hour, if not 2 hours, of a delay as well in last chance qualifier and or in the main event itself. One Piece had, I think, like 3 hours of a delay in last chance qualifier. Dragon Ball Fusion World had like 2 hours, I think, almost 2 hours at least. And but to be fair, after we got our first pairings and the matches went along, it got better and better, in quotations better and better, because you couldn't mess up anything more, I think. Because once it started rolling, it's a it goes by itself. You don't have to do much anymore. Otherwise, the store we had there was pretty small. I was expecting a way bigger store area or more venues itself. We had like 5 people there who were staffed to sell things, and the variety of the items weren't that great. We just had a few sleeves, maybe premium card collection and a playmat, and that's it. Like no figurines, no single cards, no special boxes or special deck boxes, whatever. It was a bit small, I would say. Or if you compare it how big the Congress the Congress Center itself is. But overall, the location was nice. It looked good. We had the event hall was big enough, I would say as well. Big enough to put in more stores, I would say as well. But anyway, and yeah, after the last chance qualifier on Friday, a lot of people, me included as well, because I participated in the last chance qualifier, had to wait for around 2 to 3 hours, if not more, to buy the finalist tickets. And yeah, so well, that was nice, I guess. And also, it was promised on the website at least that we would get refunds if we qualified through last chance qualifier. That also never happened. I don't think anyone got his money back from qualifying to the finals after last chance. But and also, I don't think Dragon Ball Fusion World players in last chance qualifier, me including as well, didn't get their pricings. Or we got most of them, but we didn't get the top 64. I mean, it's just a sell. It's not that important that I get it. I have like 5 of this already. But it's just nice to have, and it's just another point to the list where you can say, yeah, they fucked things up and it just didn't work out how it's supposed to work out. I mean, every regionals I went before went more smoothly. To be fair, regionals aren't that big. We had like 5 to 6,000 people, I think. So it was big. It was nice seeing all. Everyone was nice. Most of the people, at least. There was no weird interactions, just good interactions, good people, good vibes. Overall, it was nice, but just the management was shit. Yeah. Anyways, let's get into my deck and why I chose Gotenks especially. I was thinking about which deck I want to play. Most of the time, or the biggest thing I was thinking about, is either bringing Gotenks or Omega to this last chance qualifier and finals. I decided to go with Gotenks because we are the first and probably the only event that played with the new active ban list, which went live on that day of the event. But we also did not have FBO 8 support already because this is not tournament legal, which is tournament legal next weekend. So we had a 1 weekend meta, which was a bit weird to think around and play around. Honestly, I haven't done that much playtesting as well before. Not as much as I should have, maybe. By the way, I decided to go with Gotenks because I think he's a bit better into a big variety of matchups. Omega as well. He's a big defense deck. He can survive a lot of things. But considering how many Giblets and Namekus and or other aggressive decks are in this format right now, I thought that Gotenks might be the better deck to go with, because you have a lot of removal for aggro decks against like Namiku or Giblet or even Frieza. You somewhat can remove their board quite consistently and fairly good, I would say. Better than Omega most of the times, because with Omega you need to have cards on your board to be able to remove other stuff, but yeah, we're here to talk about Gotenks. For those who don't know, he's a default leader. In front side, awakens at 4, draws when attacking, and gets plus 15k for the turn in your activate main effect. With your activate main effect, if you have used an free cost extra with Sane and Earthling in their trades, which is pretty easy to pull off in this deck. So it's a 35 beat stick if you use an extra, and you can use your extras with a cost of 3 for 1 energy if you have a Gotenks on your field, but I think most of you should know this already. I've went through a lot of changes the past like week before the event. I wasn't really settled on a list. Phil from Phil Plays TCG made a video about a Gotenks list, which was actually mine. I'll link it somewhere here on the screen. Big thank you again for Phil for shouting out my list. I've made quite a few changes since then, preparing for nationals or championship, whatever. And yeah, I would say let's get into it. With my Gotenks list. Since we didn't have FBO8 support yet, it's not an up-to-date list, not the list I am using right now on the client, because there we have FBO8 support already. I'll show at the end of the video, I'll show a list of my current deck with the new FBO8 support and the new promo from Gohan, which we got last season. But this time around, I played for my 1-drops. I played 2 of my Piccolos. The Piccolo that searches an extra that searches an extra or Gotenks. No cost requirement or anything. I find this Piccolo way better than the one that searches for your hooligans or your fusion pieces, because you run 12, if not more, of your fusion pieces anyways, and once you see them and you get them into your rotation, in your drop or your hand, you're fine without searching for more most of the time. You're more struggling with having extras or Gotenks in your hand, I find out. So I've decided to cut the other searcher and just play 2 of him, because 2 is enough, you don't need 3 of them. He tends to be very useless, so he's just there for just in case I don't have a Gotenks or I don't have an extra and I need to find it real quick. He can be good, but he's not key or anything in this deck. And talking about cards in rotation and recycling, we have the 1-drop Gotenks. The one that on play lets you draw 1 and discard 1, and in your active main you can place him in your drop, and if your leader is Gotenks you can recycle an extra with 3 and Sane and Earthling in trades, which makes this deck a lot more consistent to get your leader effect off and your focused SR Gotenks effect. I was thinking about putting in 4. I played 4 for a long time, but I wanted to cut down to 50, which was a big struggle with this deck. And I don't think you need more than 3 of this, because most of the time, especially considering how aggressive this meta is, the games are mostly done, if you're not a stall deck, at around turn 6, maybe 7, 5-ish. At turn 5 it starts to get into late game and end game for most of the decks, especially Namiku or Giblet. So you only need 3 of those, because per match you maybe play 1 at max 2. But even yet now with the new Gohan you can tech in from the promo, 3 should be way more than enough. And getting to the bread and butter of this deck, we have our 8 fusion pieces, which are also our cantrips more or less. You're playing for 1 in turn 1. For example, you play Trunks in turn 1, you play Goten in turn 2, and you tap 1 more to fuse them to play your focus Gotenks on turn 2, which is basically the line you want to play as early as possible, because having your 4-cost Gotenks on field makes it way more easier to play your extras, which we'll get later. So just 4 of each to have them maxed out, and you get your fusion pieces as much as you can. And also a fusion piece, quote unquote, is the 2-cost Goten and Trunks, which also lets you recycle a 4-cost Gotenks if you have an extra in your drop, which comes greatly into clutch later in the game, around 5 energy, maybe 6 energy, once you start to play your 3-cost Gotenks, for example, or your 4-cost Goku. But more on that when we get there. And yeah, free draw Gotenks, which also gets more and more value the later the game is, because you can also recycle him and play him in rest mode from your drop most of the time with your 3-cost or 4-cost as well as again, which just lets it stack hand size. Talking about 3-cost Gotenks, we have this boy. I tagged him in really late into my list. I had the idea of putting him in as soon as Gotenks was leaked or shown, but my first playtesting, he didn't feel that great. But since the deck has gone through a lot of changes and the playstyle has changed a bit to match more of the things that Gotenks want to do, I've come to the conclusion that this card might be one of the best cards in your deck, next to the Starter Gotenks, which is, I think, the next card. It's really good. On your 5 energy turn, you get to swing. If you have 10 or more in drop, you place him in your drop in your active main. It's also enough if you have 9 in drop, because he gets to be the 10th card in your drop. If you're at like 8 cards in drop, you can swing with him, combo one of your Gotenks and Trunks that recycles some 4-cost Gotenks from your drop, and then place him in drop, play 2 of your fusion chains, and play your 4-cost, and then you have still an energy open to use for an extra if you're at 5. Also, a big consistency piece, helps you cheat out swings and your 4-costs. And speaking of 4-costs, and in my opinion, probably the best card this deck has to offer, and I've seen a few people say they didn't test him or have cut him, which is wild for me, because the starter Gotenks from Starter 02, the Vegeta starter deck, if you get him out turn 2, after like turn 1 you play Trunks or Goten, turn 2 you play Trunks or Goten, the other piece you need, and have one more to play him out, you not only get both your fusion pieces back, but you actually go +1, and with your leader swing +2 in hand size, and you are prepping your next turn, your free energy turn again, because you can play 1, tap 1, play 4-cost again. It's even in late game, to regain hand size, he is guaranteed to get you 2 10Ks back, which can sometimes be way more efficient than drawing 2, because you might draw into zeros, and having your fusion chain back and 2 10Ks helps a lot with surviving, and decks that want to play or want to starve you. So in my opinion, this is the best deck in your the best card in your deck. It's incredible. It has won me so many games in this event, you don't even know. And of course, 4-cost Gotenks, the one that when attacking, it's a 30k beat stick. When attacking, if you use an extra during this turn with an original cost of 3 or more, and say an Earthling special traits draw 2, very good card, especially if you're like 8 cards already or 9 cards and you can't play him because you need to have 7 on your high ends. This one is also as good. I think those 3 cards are probably the best cards this deck has, and it evolves around those 3 most of the time. Yeah, just a toxic card. If you get to stick 2 on board, you get to draw 5 cards every turn, which is like, I don't think you get any better value off of just 2 cards, I would say. And next to this view, we have our game-ending piece, our 4-cost Gotenks dual swing if you use an extra during this turn, combined with Super Ghost Kamikaze, very, 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 very scary card for game ends. And 2 of the 4-cost Dab Gotenks, that's one card I'm considering to cut, or I think I've already cut in my client list. But To be fair, I only tagged him in against yellow to counter their KO effects with like Final Explosion, or also against green if they take in full power and they want to KO cards. Because if they KO this, I still get value off of it, and if they don't KO it and just let it stick, it's also more value for me. That was at least the plan, but I don't think I have played him once in the whole event. To be fair, I only played one yellow, and against the other green decks, they either didn't play full power, I think, or it just didn't came down to it because I had this one to play or this one to play to get no value off it. And two of the 4-cost Gokus. When attacking, plays, if your leader is Gotenks, plays 2-cost Trunks and 2-cost Goten from drop in rest mode. Again, helps you with him, you can recycle, with him you can draw, and you put on another fusion piece, and you can fusion with 1 more energy. This guy on 6 energy is incredibly valuable and strong. You get a 30k swing into recycle or draw, and a fusion into recycle or draw, and you have 1 more extra open to use, 1 more energy open to use an extra, so you can guarantee to draw on this, and you get a 35k swing as well. The 6 energy turn can be insane in this deck, but the meta was so fast, the decks were so aggro. I think I only played him once, and that was in a blue matchup, which we both had to play for a bit longer. But since the meta is this aggro right now, I would say he can be cut later on, though. 2 of the Gohan, I was also considering to play 3 of him, because he makes your life so much easier on to clear board or get pressure out. But to be fair, I felt like 2 was enough, because you draw so much, you will definitely see at least 1 of him, and once they start playing big bodies, you can develop like 6 or 8 energy on board pretty easily anyway, and once you remove a big body and this Gohan sticks, it doesn't really matter anymore if you see another one, because you have so much energy open to just do stuff, and you have so much energy on board to just do anything. So I think 2 is a good line. With the new promo and the new changes, I think I have 2 of those and 2 of the other promo, but we'll get into that later. And then only super combos. So this is our battle card list, I would say, and for extras, in my opinion, probably best removal, especially best removal this deck has, and probably one of the best removal cards we have in this game right now, compared with Gotenks as well, of course, is Ultra Boo Boo Volleyball. So yeah, it's self-explanatory more or less. You get to bottom deck a card in your opponent's battle area equal to the energy cost of your battle cards on your battle area. So if you have a 4-cost on your field, you can bottom deck a 4 or less. If you have 2 4-costs on the field, you can bottom deck an 8-cost or less, and etc, etc. If you have like 4 offs, you get to theoretically bottom deck and 16 costs, if that would be a card that exists. It's just a great removal for big bodies and just annoying bodies as well. Speaking about good removal is the Death Missile chain. Discard 1, choose all battle cards with 3 or less and bottom deck them. Extremely potent against Nameku, against Giblet, even though Goma sometimes, Ginyu, especially Ginyu cries when you play this. Frieza as well suffers from this card. So those 2 cards are actually the main reason why I went with Gotenks over Omega, because those 2 cards help you keep the board state at neutral or good for you, which board size or board state and hand size are like the most important things you can have in this game right now, and those 2 help you a lot with it. And yeah, and my last 2 extras are Super Ghost Kamikaze Tag to buff my Gotenks as for best case. In best case, I'll buff my dual swing to go 50 dual swing, but a lot of times I just use them on him or him if I didn't have him on field, just to get pressure out. And yeah, that's my Gotenks list. I would say it's pretty good. It's pretty consistent because Gotenks has a lot of consistency issues now and then, and I would like to say I've somewhat fixed it. Of course, it's not optimal. You can tweak any list. You can probably make this list even better as well. But I felt like I've seen everything I need whenever I need it. I had all the opportunities and plays in my hand when I needed them and could generate as much value as possible every turn. And I think that's what it really comes down to see how good this deck works. And I think overall in both days, in last chance qualifier and in finals, those were I think 15 games overall. I bricked like twice, which is okay. I mean, bad starting hand happened a bit more, but like really bricked, I think only once at max twice maybe. But yeah, just to quickly get over the matchups because we are already at 20 minutes recording. In last chance qualifier, my first game was a free win because the opponent was only there to get to the venue earlier. He didn't really want to play. My second game was against Jiren, which made me really happy because I have a great matchup into Jiren. I had a toxic good starting hand. I had both fusion pieces in my starting hand. I had my Gotenks, Sarah Gotenks in my starting hand, and from there on I just had too good of a hand, too much removal. His 4-cost Jiren didn't stick for a turn, his 6-cost SCR didn't stick for a turn, both of them actually at bottom deck, 2 of them, and I had too much value on board. At some point I had 2 of this on board, I had 2 of this on board. It was just too much for him to be able to sustain for, and I just removed everything and kept on pressing until I went for I think 85 to his 2 cards in hand and just went for game. And my third game, so I won against Jiren. My third game was against Giblet, which I've also won. I had a great starting hand again. I board wiped like twice or 3 times. I stayed at 4 life as long as possible and just prepped my dual swing 50k and went I think 70 to 80 at 4 game, something like this. Then game 4 I played Goku GT, which I was happy to see, not because it's a especially good matchup, but I just like to see a variety of decks, and so far I had like 3 different decks, which was great, and black is also always a great fun matchup. And I had a okay starting hand. It wasn't the best, not as good as Giblet or Jiren starting hands, but I got to remove his 4-cost SCR twice, his Gogeta once, and after that I pretty much went for game. Then game 5 was against Cell, actually, pre-ban list Cell, which funnily enough, which I didn't mention, I think, Cell won the whole event. So yeah, ban list didn't help that much, I think. No, it was way closer, and the deck is nerfed. It's still strong, but he needs to play differently and needs to play better. It's not as easy anymore, which is good. I like that they didn't kill his deck, but just made it a lot more weak. The game started, he had a very good first and second turn. He got his 5-cost out pretty fast, not the old one, but the SR 5-cost. Cleared my board once, and after that I didn't get to remove his 5-cost, so it sticked for a turn, and then after that it was just game. Too much value for him on board, I couldn't remove it, he pressed too much and out-resourced me. Game 6 that was my first loss. So I was 4-1 at this point. Game 6 was against Topku, which again, great. I love to see different decks, and especially Topku, a deck which was dead for a long time, is now playable again and gets new support. It was a great fun. It was a great matchup, probably one of the closest I had this day. We both had a stacked hand size for the majority of the game and just wanted to out-resource the other one. He spammed out like 3 bodies every turn and had to clear everything, and meanwhile tried to pressure life and keep hand size. It was a great game. We both had so much fun. We shaked hands afterwards, of course. We talked about it, and we both had a blast on this game throughout the event. He qualified as well into the finals, and on Saturday and Sunday we met every now and then. We talked a bit. Great guy, great game. If you see this, thank you again. It was great. Good fight. We gave everything to the last cards in our hand, and I won with. I went in with 50. He had 2 cards in hand. I counted like 2 or 3 supers in his drop already, so I was like, okay, 50 should be enough. He got 250 as well, so it was very close, but I've got this win, so I'm 5-1 at this point. And then we went into game 7, which was the last game for the last chance qualifier, and this was one of the games where I bricked. I didn't see anything. My first 3 turns were super slow, and I had no opportunity to play a 4 cost out, so there I was off curve for like 1 or 2 turns. Got to remove his board once or twice, put on a bit of pressure, but overall he just won in the long time because my early game was so much slower compared to what it should be. But overall, I went 5-2 in last chance qualifier with this list and went 9th overall and got my finals, but the finals invite. But then, yeah, had to wait for like 3 hours to get my ticket and purchase something at the store because without it you couldn't purchase something, which was scuffed as well. But getting into the finals matchups as well, real quick. As well, we had a delay for like an hour or 2. And my first game was against Zamasu, which, again, I was happy to see because it's a different deck. And it was a great game. It was really good from both ends. We gave it our best. We removed like our whole board every turn after turn after turn, pressured live, tried to out-resource the other one, starve the other one. But as we bottom decked so much and went in for so long, we almost went overtime. And at some point, I saw all my pieces. He bottom decked me again, and I got to play those out back to back, like 2 or 3 turns, and just take every resource back from drop. And just overall, just had too many cards in hand, and could just, take the game home. Was a really cool game. And we've also met in Iceloom's stream on Monday, I think. We also talked there a bit about the game, and we both enjoyed it really. My second game was against Golden Freezer, which I lost. It was a big back and forth until he played his 5-cost blocker, which also stuns an energy off me, so I need to play off curve, which was really bad because I had to play out a new 4-cost, which he cleared last turn, I think. And being 1 energy short on 5 energy made it really awkward to get rid of his 5-cost, which I didn't get to. So his 5-cost was sticking again, and after that turn he played another one, delaying my 6 energy turn as well. And after that it was just game because I was way off the curve and way too slow. I got to remove his board once or twice. He played a big aggro list as well, but that just didn't matter at this point, I think. Game 3 was Nameku, which I also lost. He was just the better player. He saw better than me. He pressured me way better. He played it smart. He was great. He got into top 16 after that as well, I think. Maybe even top 8. He got far as well. He was a great player. Shoutouts to him as well. Great game. Was fun. He got me down to 2 after giving me 2 big swings, and then he just all-in with, I think, 150 or 140, and I just couldn't block this. Game 4 against Piccolo SH, very bad matchup, so I lost it as well. I didn't have that good of a starting hand. This is the second game where I would say I bricked. It wasn't as bad as game 7, but I didn't see that well, which I had to play off curve 1 turn, bit slower, and that just is detrimental against Piccolo because if you have to play slow against him, he will steamroll you at some point. So I'm 1 for 3, and I was considering to just drop out, but I was like, no, come on, I'm just anyway, just go on. Maybe it will go better after this. Which it did. In game 5, I played against Namiku, which was actually the game 7 player from my LCQ, the Namiku where I bricked hard, and I got my revenge. I actually won, and this time I saw everything I need. I saw everything at the best time I had to see. It was just flipped completely, and I more or less rolled him. I was on 4 life, he was on 2 life and like 3 cards in hand, and I had a big board. He couldn't do anything. I removed everything he did. He was a bit slow as well in his second turn or third turn, I think, which made it a lot easier for me and just outvalued him at some point. Then game 6 against Piccolo SH again, and I was seeing me lose already, but luckily he didn't have any turn 1 or turn 2 play, which made things so much easier for me. He didn't ramp on his third turn as well, which again helped me a lot, but he popped his marker on turn 3 or 4 to play a Gohan to prepare his 7-cost Gohan for the next turn. But I got so many resources and so much pressure out because he was slow and off curve that at the time he played out his 7-cost Gohan, he was down to 2 life already, I think, and that Gohan did not change how the game went, to be fair, because I got out my 4-cost Gotenks and my Gohan and played my extra for free to remove his board, his 7-cost, and went for game right after that. And the 7th game was against a Giblet again. It was a very close game. It came down to, I think, 5k combo power after a big and forth. Great game, great man, great games. I think he went 80 and I had 75 on hand, or 80 exactly on hand. So very, very close game. And the game 8, or last game of that European Championships, were against Kid Goku, which again I had a lot of fun. Also a different matchup than expected. I've won this game. The start was pretty rough. I was off curve in my second turn, or my first turn. He went first, I went second. He played the announcer to search top 5, and he picked up the 3-cost Goku SR that bottom decks at 2-cost, and I didn't want to play on my first turn. Then I didn't want to play my fusion piece because it's a 2-cost, and I didn't have a backup fusion piece except the one I want to play next turn. So I decided to play off curve so I would not lose my curve for the next turn. And after that, and one or two more rounds of recycling resources and trying to stay alive and removing board, controlling board, I stayed at 3 life for a long time. He tried to pressure me down to 2, but I was not taking it. In the end, it turned out fine. I went with dual swing again at the end for, I think, 65 into 70 or something like this, and won this game. Which, made me go 4 wins and 4 loses overall in these championships. For considering how this was a jungle meta, how people like to call it, and it was the first time like seriously playing Gotenks outside of the client in a big event, I would say it was alright. It went well. I finished 116th overall. Could have been better, but I'll be serious, this deck is not finished yet. We are missing some support from FBO 8 and the new Mighty Mask promo coming in January, I think, which really rounds up this deck in my opinion. It still works. It works pretty good. It's consistent. It has some issues. It can brick, and if you brick, you auto lose because this deck just needs to see its pieces and needs his engine to work. That's why you max out on 2-cost and 4-cost as much as you can, so you get to see your pieces every turn and get to do shit, because this deck is extremely potent and has a lot of different ways to remove anything. And if you get to stick your cards, you can just tap 1, do shit, you know. this is a 1 cost, that's a 1 cost, that's a 1 cost. That's like, those are the only 2 costs in this deck, really. And even this you can play from this or this Goku. At some point it's just tap 1, remove, tap 1, play, tap 1, play, tap 1, fusion, play, recycle, tap 1, recycle. It feels like somewhat Haloku did to feel with like tap 1, tap 1, tap 1, tap 1 and do stuff, but just way more aggressive and a bit better in board control, as stupid as it may sound. But this deck, especially against the jungle meta, it can control the board as good as no other deck, I would say. And that's probably the main reason I went for Gotenks. Overall, as I said again, it was a great event. It was fun seeing everyone again, playing in finals. My first European Championship, actually. I had a blast. I'm looking forward to play more and more events. Maybe one day get into top cuts for big events, or maybe even win an event, who knows. But I will now show you my list after the new FBO 8 supports. And thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your day, I would say. And we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again. Bye. Alright, now we are in the client, and I just wanted to quickly show you some changes I've made to the list with the new FBO 8 support we got, and especially, or only this Gotenks from FBO 8, which is a great card as well. It helps the deck to be more consistent and helps the deck with removal as well. I've taken out the Piccolo Searcher because with the new Gohan, or the promo Gohan, not the new Gohan, you get to recycle 1 more extra from your drop as well, so I don't really think you need to search that desperately for extras anymore. And it's just a 5k combo for 5k combo and a 20k swing, so it's not that big of a change. Both are around extras, I would say. And I've taken out the 4-cost Dap Gotenks to replace him with this new rare Gotenks, who's 20k swing and a 10k combo as well. He's a 4-cost, so you can play him with your fusion chain as well. And he's when attacking, he also takes a life, so it's a self-awakener as well if you really need it to be, which is also great. And in your unplay, if you lead as Gotenks, you get to play 1 Gohan Adolescence or a Piccolo with a cost of 2 or less from your hand. So either want to play this Gohan to recycle Piccolo, which we don't have anymore, so we get to recycle an extra. Helps you to just recycle those, and with now you have 5 pieces to recycle the extra instead of 3 pieces to recycle and 2 to search. You get to recycle a lot now. And you also, if you play him out, you also get to play him out as well. Since as long as you have a 4-cost Gotenks in your field, he is a 2-cost in your hand. So on your free energy turn, if you really need to remove something, you could like chain into him, play Gohan, play volleyball, or play chain or whatever if you need to. And that's pretty much it. It didn't change anything. It's a 51 card list, a 52 with leader, of course, right now. Because I really want 3 of him. I was thinking about cutting him down. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe you can do it to get it to 50, or you cut both of this, because this is right now the only card I would say you can cut. Especially seeing how aggressive the new leaders from FBO 8 are. It's rare that you get to 5 or 6 energy, and or you have better plays for this amount of energy than Goku. But it's still a great card. I just don't find it has that many uses in this fast meta. But yeah, that's my current Gotenks list. Still waiting for Mighty Mask to replace him and see what the deck is capable of if it reaches his full potential. So yeah, I probably, if we get Mighty Mask, I'll probably cut this 3, those 2, and just put in 4 Mighty Masks, so I can keep 3 of this, and then it should be consistent enough to do anything you want. But anyways, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, would help me out greatly. And have a great rest of your day. Maybe we'll see you again, and peace.